So you think you know Florida. You picture South Beach. You imagine Mickey Mouse. You see miles of glittering coastline packed with tourists. But let me ask you this. Why doesn't anyone seem to want to live in northern Florida? It's a curious question, isn't it? The state is one of the fastest growing in the nation. People flock here from all over. Yet the vast expanse north of Orlando often gets overlooked. It's like the state has a secret, less glamorous attic that nobody talks about at parties. This part of Florida is different. It feels different. It even smells different. Pine needles, salt marsh, and history. The truth is, northern Florida is a world away from its southern siblings. Drive north on I-75 and you'll notice a change. Let's talk about the weather, specifically the big, swirling monsters that come calling every summer and fall. Hurricanes are a fact of life for every Floridian, but northern Florida gets a special kind of attention. The Gulf of Mexico is like a giant bathtub filled with warm water. This is the perfect fuel for hurricanes. The Panhandle, that long stretch of coast from Pensacola to the Big Bend, juts out right into their path. It acts like a catcher's mitt for storms spinning up in the Gulf. This makes the region one of the most hurricane-prone areas in the entire United States, a fact that insurance companies know all too well. The statistics don't lie. Data from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, shows this area is a magnet for storms. Since records began in 1851, Northwest Florida has been hit by more hurricanes than any other part of the state. Think about that for a second. More than Miami. More than the Keys. Powerful storms like Hurricane Michael in 2018, a devastating Category 5, showed just how vulnerable the region is. It flattened entire towns, rearranged the coastline, and left scars on the landscape and the community that are still healing today, years later. This constant threat is a heavy weight on the minds of residents. You have a hurricane kit ready to go. You have an evacuation plan. It's a seasonal ritual, a shared experience of preparation and dread. If the hurricanes don't scare you away, perhaps the smaller residents will. Northern Florida is a paradise for bugs, all of them. The heat, the humidity, swamps, forests, and marshes create the perfect breeding ground for an astonishing variety of insects. We're not just talking about a few annoying gnats, we're talking about swarms. We're talking about bugs that have their own designated seasons. There are the love bugs, which emerge twice a year in massive clouds so thick they can clog car radiators and cover entire buildings in a black, sticky mess. They don't bite, but their sheer numbers are the stuff of nightmares. Then there are the mosquitoes. Oh, the mosquitoes. Thanks to the ample standing water, mosquito populations can explode, especially after a summer rain. Forget enjoying a quiet evening on your porch without being slathered in repellent. These aren't your average backyard mosquitoes either. The galliniper, a super mosquito, can be 20 times the size of a regular one. Its bite is said to feel like a sharp jab. Biting yellow flies, which are notoriously aggressive and can leave painful welts. Fire ants, whose mounds pop up overnight in your yard, ready to unleash fiery pain on any unsuspecting foot. And let's not forget the cockroaches, palmetto bugs. These are large, flying roaches that seem to have a special talent for appearing in your shower at the worst possible moment. Living here means accepting that you are never truly alone, and that a good pest control service is not a luxury, but a necessity. This constant battle with the insect world is a major turnoff for many people. The idea of your car being coated in dead love bugs, of being relentlessly hunted by giant mosquitoes, or of finding a palmetto bug in your shoe is, for many, simply too much to handle. Beyond the storms and bugs, there is the daily grind of the climate itself. Northern Florida has a distinct weather pattern that sets it apart from the rest of the state. While all of Florida is hot, the north is humid, oppressive, stagnant. During the summer, May through September, the air feels thick enough to chew. Humidity often hovers near 100%. This creates a heat index, what the temperature actually feels like. 95 degrees Fahrenheit, 90% humidity, feels like 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and it can soar well above 100 degrees day after day. It's a smothering heat, energy sapping. Simple outdoor activities feel like an Olympic sport. This region also gets a taste of winter, which many moving to Florida hope to escape. It's not a true northern winter, blizzards, ice storms, but temperatures can and do dip below freezing. Pensacola and Tallahassee can experience hard freezes several times a year. This means you have to protect your plants and protect your pipes. You might even see a flurry or two of snow once a decade. A true oddity. This combination is the worst of both worlds for some. The relentless humidity also brings another unwelcome guest, mold and mildew. In northern Florida's climate, everything feels damp. Your clothes, your furniture, the walls of your house, they all become targets for mildew. Fighting a constant war against mildew is part of homeownership here. It requires constant cleaning, dehumidifiers running nonstop, and a vigilant eye for any dark spots appearing in corners. This persistent dampness can affect air quality and can be a serious problem for people with allergies or respiratory issues. For many potential residents, this climate is a deal breaker. People move to Florida for sunshine and warm winters, not for freezing nights and summers so humid you feel like you need gills to breathe. The culture of northern Florida is perhaps its most defining and, for some, most challenging feature. As you travel north, the Latin influences that flavor South Florida fade away, replaced by the deep-rooted traditions of the American South. This is the Florida of Southern Drawls, of sweet tea served by the gallon, and of a pace of life that is noticeably slower. It is a place where tradition, family, and community are held in high regard. The culture is more conservative, both socially and politically, than in the bustling metropolitan areas to the south. This creates a strong sense of local identity that can be welcoming and exclusionary. This old Florida or deep South culture can be a shock for newcomers, especially those from more diverse or liberal parts of the country. The region is part of the Bible Belt, and religion often plays a central role in community life. Life revolves around church, high school football on Friday nights, and long-standing family connections. While this creates tight-knit communities where neighbors know and support each other, it can also feel insular to outsiders. If you didn't grow up here, or if your lifestyle and beliefs don't align with the prevailing norms, it can be difficult to feel like you truly fit in. The lifestyle is also decidedly more rural and less cosmopolitan. Outside of a few small cities like Tallahassee, Pensacola, and Gainesville, much of northern Florida is made up of small towns, farmland, and vast national forests. Entertainment options are more limited. Instead, life is simpler and centered around outdoor activities like hunting, fishing, and boating on the region's numerous rivers and lakes. The economy of northern Florida presents a complex picture, and it can be a major deterrent for those seeking career opportunities. The job market is heavily reliant on a few key sectors: government, military, healthcare, tourism. Tallahassee, as the state capital, has a stable base of government jobs. Cities like Pensacola are home to large naval air stations, and Jacksonville hosts major naval facilities too. However, outside of these specific fields, high-paying professional jobs can be scarce. The economy is not as diversified as in the tech and finance hubs of Central and South Florida. This lack of diversity in the job market translates directly to lower wages. On average, salaries in northern Florida lag significantly behind those in the rest of the state. According to data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average annual wage in many of the Panhandle's rural counties is thousands below state and national averages. While the cost of living, particularly housing, is also lower, the wage gap can be too large to overcome. For ambitious professionals or young families looking to build wealth, the limited earning potential is a powerful reason to look elsewhere. Furthermore, the tourism and service industries employ a large portion of the workforce and are often characterized by low wages and seasonal instability. The beautiful beaches of the Emerald Coast attract millions of visitors, but many of the jobs created are in hotels, restaurants, and retail. These positions often pay at or near minimum wage and can disappear during the off-season. Now, after all that talk of hurricanes, giant bugs, and a tough job market, you might think nobody in their right mind would live in northern Florida. But that's not the whole story. For a certain type of person, this region isn't just tolerable, it's paradise. The very things that scare some people away are the exact same things that others find incredibly appealing. The slower pace of life, the deep sense of community, the connection to nature, powerful draws for those escaping urban chaos. Northern Florida is home to some of the most beautiful beaches in the entire world. The sugar-white sand of the Emerald Coast is made of pure Appalachian quartz, and it squeaks when you walk on it. Beyond the coast, the region is a wonderland of natural springs, with crystal-clear, ice-cold water bubbling up from the aquifer. Places like Ecatuckney Springs and Wakulla Springs offer an almost magical escape from the summer heat. The vast pine forests and mysterious swamps are an outdoor enthusiast's dream, perfect for hiking, kayaking, and bird-watching. The lower cost of living is another huge plus. Your money simply goes further here. Housing is significantly more affordable. For retirees on a fixed income or young families just starting out, this affordability can be the deciding factor that makes their Florida dream a reality. When you put it all together, it becomes clear that Florida is not one single state, but at least two. The dividing line is somewhere around Orlando, an invisible border that separates two vastly different worlds. South Florida, from Orlando down to the Keys, is the Florida of the popular imagination. It's a multicultural melting pot fueled by international business, tourism, and a constant influx of new people. Northern Florida, in stark contrast, is the keeper of the state's southern soul. Its identity is shaped more by its proximity to Georgia and Alabama than to Miami or the Caribbean. Its population is less transient, the culture more traditional, and the landscape more natural. People moving to Florida are typically seeking one of two things. They are either chasing economic opportunity and a dynamic, diverse lifestyle, or they are seeking a quiet, affordable, and more traditional place to settle down. South and Central Florida cater to the first group. Northern Florida appeals to the second. You either want what the South offers, or you want what the North offers. So why doesn't anyone want to live in Northern Florida? The answer is complicated, but it boils down to a simple mismatch of expectations versus reality. Most people's idea of Florida has been shaped by decades of marketing, movies, and television. They envision a tropical paradise, endless summer, vibrant nightlife, booming opportunity. They come seeking the Florida of Miami Vice, not the Florida of Forrest Gump. When they encounter the reality of Northern Florida, deep South culture, humid buggy climate, hurricane risk, quieter economy, it simply doesn't compute. The shocking truth is that Northern Florida is challenging. Many pass through on I-10 on their way to somewhere else. But for a select few, it's sanctuary, a refuge from traffic, high prices, and sprawl. It depends on what you're looking for.